So when you're looking at your body care, specifically
Mm.
your skin, your face creams and your face lotions and serums, don't use anything with water. I mean, water, if water is an ingredient, also aqua, you might see aqua as the first ingredient to your anti-aging wrinkle remover. Water dehydrates your skin, water evaporates, and it's the cheap way of making the product. You want a product that is oil based or at the very least aloe based.
What if aging isn't about slowing down, but leveling up? I'm Dr. Isaac Jones, one of the world's leading longevity doctors and someone that's invested millions of my own money into cracking the code on longevity. This is the Longevity Leaders Podcast. Join me and my co-hosts, Dr. Rudy, Dr. Ashley, as we interview the world's top doctors, scientists, and practitioners, sharing the latest breakthroughs in longevity and regenerative medicine. If you're ready to optimize your health, your performance, and your longevity, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Longevity Leaders Podcast. I'm Dr. Isaac Jones, and this episode is part of our exclusive series recorded at the Exponential Longevity Summit, a global gathering of cutting-edge health experts exploring the edge of human performance, health span, and longevity. Let's get into it. All right, and welcome. I'm here with Dr. Eric Zielinski, or they call him Dr. Z. He is a good friend of mine who has literally created an empire around research, data, systems around how essential oils can help you transform your health, live longer, and actually impact various disease pathways in the body. I'm so excited for you to get this cutting edge information that Eric has literally spent the last 10 plus years collecting and developing systems around. He even has, educational products that will help you go even deeper, beyond just this interview if you're interested in learning more. But Dr. Eric, thank you so much. Dr. Z, thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm looking forward to just tapping into your brain for people to understand not just disease prevention, not just life extension with this essential oils, but beautification, which is something that I know you, your wife, and your family are utilizing as well. So thank you again.
Well, thanks for having me, Dr. Isaac. We were just talking offline before we jumped on how this is like a full circle kind of moment. And for those of you who are familiar with my work, you know that what was a big thing for me and a really big thing for the industry was back in 2015, the Essential Oils Revolution Summit came out. It was the first non-branded. We don't talk about doTERRA. We don't mention Young Living. We're just going to keep things to oils event. And we are blessed and featured to have you and your lovely wife. And so, wow, that was 10 years ago. And now to come full circle back. And I remember, I think you talked about high energy performance and all the wonderful things that you've done in your career and your wife, beauty expert. So there's so much to talk about. And with that, this is our 10th anniversary. And so it's almost like 10 years in review, 3 books later, couple babies later. I have 6 kids, right? So with all the babies and all the things, the millions of people that have seen us on Netflix and 700 Club.
You said 6 kids, 6 kids.
6. Yeah.
That's something to underline. Netflix. That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Just essential oils became the thing, and they still are. And the one thing we do is we just teach people how to use them, and we don't sell the actual essential oil, which is odd because everyone is selling the essential oil. So we're like, hey, let's take the financial bias out of it. I'm a public health researcher. Let's educate. So yes, I'm really looking forward to sharing some things. Like, this is not just cutting edge, but it's ancient. This is what's really the dichotomy about plant-based medicine is our ancestors have been using this for literally the thousands and thousands of years. And now it's like, oh, science finally caught up. Yay. And so now what does that mean? How do we start aging in reverse using plant medicine?
It's funny, Eric, Dr. Eric, is, you are a true researcher. I can remember when I was getting my doctorate, I walked into this office and you were there doing research even while you were a student.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you were researching as a student, you're researching, beyond that, but I mean, you just have that analytical mind. I can't wait to tap into all of these little details. And thank you for doing all of the things you've done, writing all the books that you've written. If they could pick up one book, like what is the top book that you've written that you feel like is the best one?
Oh, at the beginning, the first one, the healing power of essential oils. I'm just honored. It's in 9 different languages, hundreds of thousands of copies in print, and it's
Wow.
the first one, and it's the one that everyone needs to get if they're starting out. And then from there, we have other advanced strategies and protocols and other books, but that's it. And it's just exciting because once you start sinking your teeth into this world, you start realizing like, oh, I have a lot more control than I thought I did over my health. And a phrase that God has really been pricking my heart, so to speak, is like, we're the cure. We have everything we need to be
Yeah.
healthy, to live a long,
Mhm.
abundant life.
Mhm.
And as you and I, we share our same faith, so we see the biblical promise of long, healthy life, and on a practical level, God's given us everything that we need through nature. And it's like, how do we balance that out through what we see with conventional medicine and quote unquote biohacking? And so it's great because once you incorporate all of it and you have a
Yeah.
well balanced, abundant mindset, you really see that you are in the driver's seat. And that's the most empowering thing I want to leave everyone with. All the great information you're getting in this summit, all the wonderful nuggets that Dr. Isaac spreads throughout all the interviews, pick up one or two or three things and start. And once you start that motion, don't look back. And next thing you know, you're feeling better, you're looking better, and you have more energy and you're thriving. And it's like, wow, what a life worth living.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we do this? We're talking about disease prevention for using and disease. Let's just talk about essential oils helping reverse disease and prevent disease, and then let's talk again about longevity and how it can help us live longer, and then we'll get into the beautification strategies. I found very interesting. There was a longevity. A social listening study where they took all the conversations that were happening on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, I guess it's called X now. And what they did was they analyzed the conversations around longevity. And what was so interesting is that 60% of the conversation about skin and beautification, I guess you could say, around longevity was actually made by men, not women. So I was now this isn't the category of anti-aging, more women are talking about these beautification strategies, but the category of longevity, more men are interested in longevity, but they're also interested in looking healthy and
Mm-hmm.
younger for longer. So this is both a men and women topic, but let's dive into disease and cancer, heart disease, diabetes. What are you seeing that essential oils can do for these different challenges in today's society?
So to put things into perspective, when we look at what essential oils are, and I'll get in just a minute, I'll define it and I'll explain how to use them. Um, we have to recognize the history and the significance of plant-based medicine and what it means for us today.
Hmm.
And a very important note and a fact, this is a fact, is that all modern medicine today has had its basis in plant medicine at one point or another in its formulation. And so it's not like a chemist or a pharmacist wakes up with a vision with hydrogens and nitrogens and carbon structures in their mind creating a drug. It doesn't work like that. What chemists do and pharmacists do is they find a plant-based structure and then they essentially manufacture it synthetically, mass produce it, put preservatives in it, and put it on the market. And the best example is willow. For thousands of years, our ancestors have been using willow bark for its analgesic pain relieving properties. So you can make poultices out of it, salves out of it, oils, whatever. And they found, oh, if I apply this stuff, like who would have thought? Bark on a tree, let's soak it in some oil, let's put it on my skin, and it takes away the pain. That's pretty ancient wisdom, if you ask me, pretty profound. Well, scientists started investigating that 100 plus years ago. And they found out there's a chemical, a salicylate chemical in the salicylate family, and they extracted it. And they're like, oh, this has some significant anti inflammatory properties. What if we add this to it, that to it, and put a shiny white coating on it? Let's sell it as aspirin. That's literally the history of aspirin. And that's the history of the antibiotic. That's the history of all these other drugs that we see. So I just want to put this in its context. And essential oils are
Wow.
highly concentrated. So, and again, this is a video, right? I could pull out my props. I just did an interview that was audio, so I can't play. The fun thing about my world, it's very visual. You're seeing here about 3 pounds of lavender flowers. If you're looking at the video, this is an essential oil bottle. You're looking at 600, 700,000 rose petals, steam distilled, extracted through different solvent extractions. You're looking at the rind of 40 different lemons right here. So this is concentrated plant-based medicine. And say that very respectfully. You can't get the medicinal therapeutic effect from supplements, from food, from anything else like you can, because they're so highly concentrated. Likewise, you're not going to walk into a lavender field and see a pool of lavender, right? This doesn't exist. So we got to realize this is very much a man-made product, 100% natural. And if you use this product safely, effectively, the right way, there are 0 side effects. And that's worth repeating, because I'll challenge you, go to your local pharmacy, go to your local drugstore, look at anything there, and you'll see just a litany, a list of what it could do and potentially will do to you if you use these essential oils properly. And barring the rare case of allergic reaction, you'll have a positive reaction, no negative reaction at all. And that's where we teach people.
And I'll just say, like, I've never had any negative reaction except for the very first time I used essential oil. I took wintergreen and peppermint, and I just new to essential oil, and I put so much in my hand, and I just got out of the shower. I was actually at David Jocker's, our friend's house, for his Jewish Passover feast with his family. So I'm like rubbing it. I put it all over my body, and then around 3 seconds later, it just started burning.
Yeah.
And I was like screaming in his bathroom. But anyways, obviously you learn how to use them, and they're very easy to use. That was obviously an extreme example of me being ridiculous with essential oils. But I mean, yeah, tell us a little bit more. I love the history around it, but like specific to these challenges that we're seeing, and just to give context, I mean, this is a crazy time in which we're living, where we are spending on, like you said, the pharmaceutical manipulation of plant molecules that are turned into actual medications that have preservatives in them. That whole market has blown up to be a $4.3 trillion market. You see, all these diseases and disorders that are just so uncommon in the 1960s and 70s and 80s that are now just exploding, with diabetes, affecting children, which it never did 20, 30 years ago. Where you've got, autism rates in the 1960s of being 1 in every 10,000 kids. Some studies as low as 1 in every 2,000 kids. But you've got it now 1 every 33 kids in California. And the state of California, you're looking at 1 in every 24 kids. It's like, what the heck is happening? And you and I know what's happening, right? And that's why we're getting this information out there in the summit. But like, essential oils can be used as a really incredible solution to help address the common day issues and challenges that we're seeing. So let's get into, how it impacts disease pathways and reverses challenges that we're dealing with.
Yeah. And I want to start at the fundamental beginning, is that oftentimes, and I'm sure several, if not everyone on this event is going to use the word inflammation. It's just not the primary mechanism that causes chronic disease and premature death, but it's a buzzword. I mean, it really is. And it's something that I almost think we use flippantly. But when you take the step back and you're like, what actually is causing the inflammation? Inflammation isn't a root cause. It's the actual root mechanism. It's the thing that's breaking down the body. But what's the cause of the inflammation? And I mention that because that's where essential oils play a key role. So essential oils will help you address the actual cause of the inflammation. And then if you end up getting inflamed or you end up suffering from chronic disease, it could help manage and treat symptoms. But I say that to say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, and you mentioned what the comparison of rates of Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, whatnot in the early 19th and 20th century till today. And we see the shift. The shift was around the middle of the century, the middle 1900s. The advent of the antibiotic, the advent of antibacterial soap, like Dial soap coming out in the 40s or 50s was like the worst thing ever. It had triclosan and still does, like a hand sanitizer has a registered pesticide in it. These preservatives, these antibacterial components that sanitizes our hands, which ultimately just annihilated the skin microbiome. And on a side note, and I'm going to be kind of, trust me on this, we're going to go on a path. We're kind of going to go on a couple bunny trails because it fits it all together. And I want to bring real research today and teach the historical view. But one study, when you look at this concept, is an Oxford University Press journal published a study after evaluating all modern countries, essentially 275 plus countries in the world. They found a direct correlation between rates of sanitation and Alzheimer's. And I use the word sanitation, not cleanliness. When you wash your hands with good old-fashioned borax soap, you're cleaning off the dirt and the grimes. When you're washing your hands with antibacterial products and hand sanitizer, you're killing the good and the bacteria, the bad bacteria. These researchers, again, this ain't no hippie patchouli smell and jump over a stick and howl at the moon journal. I get criticized all the time, doc. Oh, this is snake oil. This is for hippies. No joke. These are real comments from real people that look down upon what we do. This is Oxford. You can argue with the most prestigious university in the world. These researchers, quote, the lack of bacteria on the hands due to over-sanitization is causing chronic inflammation that's leading to Alzheimer's. This is direct research. So how do essential oils help? When you start to make your own products or you start to buy products without those antibacterial components. And here's the key. If you're taking notes, write the word fragrance, artificial fragrance, or parfum, Parfum. Write those ingredients, write that down and do a big old red X if you got red, if not black. Stay away from artificial fragrances like the plague. They are the number one cause of chronic inflammation because you're inhaling that stuff all day long. And we could go into, yeah.
No, I was going to say, I have a few grays that are coming in right here. And, I'm like, okay, well, what do I do to get rid of gray hair? So I did some research and I found a peptide that helps get rid of gray hair. So then I order this thing that contains the peptide in it when it comes. And because I don't want to dye my hair or anything like that. And I spray it on and I reek of fragrance. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I look at the ingredients and it's like perfume and all these fragrances. And I was like, I can't use this. So I spent like $200 or $300 on this thing. It's supposed to take away gray hair and reactivate your skin cells to so I'm just going to have to figure out another way. I mean, I've only got like 5 or 6 gray hairs, but I was like, I might as well preventatively reinvigorate my skin cells and my scalp to produce dark hair for as long as possible, so that's a good point though. And I'll tell you, you don't think it impacts you. It impacts people around you. So I started to get a headache that day because, and most people, they'll have a headache or they'll feel low energy because they don't realize that the, Old Spice and all the other things that they're using and the fragrances, the Febreze in their car or whatever is impacting them, but it actually is. But it doesn't just impact you, it impacts the people around you. And so my wife, was making comments like, what is that? Really? It smells synthetic. I'm like, it is. I'm sorry to say it, but continue. This is good.
Yeah. And you make a point of something. What you're alluding to, what I'm hearing you say is, well, it doesn't bother me, so it's okay. I mean, that's basically what I'm hearing from people. And it's almost like the supposition that it's like, just because you don't necessarily feel something happening doesn't mean it's wrong. And I'm going to be very blunt. If you can go to Walmart or Kroger or your big box store, Target,
Yeah.
If you could go in the cleaning aisle, and if you could go in that aisle and not get a runny nose, not get nauseous, not get a headache, not have some negative reaction,
Right.
that's a sign that you've desensitized your sense of smell. That's as dangerous as like diabetic neuropathy, where you end up sores on your feet because you can't feel. If you put your hand into a fire, thank God there's the pain sensor that takes it out. You need to sensitize your sense of smell. And that's the problem, Doc, is we become desensitized. Not we, thank God, not you, but a lot of people
Wow.
have become desensitized, so they don't even sense. And this is the primal sense that you were given by God when you were in utero, like your olfactory. Taking a step back, a little bit of science, your olfactory system is the only sense in your body, your sense of smell, that's hardwired to the brain.
Mm.
When you smell something, there's an immediate impulse that goes right to your limbic system, where your mood, your memory, your emotions lie, and your autonomic function, breathing rate, heart rate, right, all that. So if you don't feel something negative, that's just as dangerous as you putting your hand into a fire and not feeling pain. And
Wow.
so I want to point out that if you want to help your body, your mind, your soul and spirit, dare I say, age well, you need to kick out those fragrances, those candles, those plugins, the sprays, the poo-poo sprays, all
Yeah.
that stuff. And the reality is this, and this is kind of sad, but it's almost funny too. A mutual friend of ours who owns the wonderful company Truly Free, Stephen Azell, they do only non-toxic cleaning products like laundry soap and stuff. Stephen, good friend of mine, lives in Traverse City, Michigan. He went to his local mall to survey the local patrons of the mall, and he had two rags. And the question he wanted to ask these people are, which rag is cleaner? Okay, walk me through this. One rag was absolutely white, cleanest thing in the world, not a spot or a blemish, but it had no smell to it. The other rag, he said he literally cleaned he cleaned his engine block with it, but he doused it with like a four-letter word that we can't say or we'll get sued detergent, right? Starts with a T, ends with an E, and there's an ID in the middle. And so he had all that smell there, right? And he asked people, which one's cleaner? And the resounding amount of people said the one that smelled better was cleaner, even though the one that was visually cleaner was cleaner. And it was like the eye opener moment came to him. He's like, we not addicted to smell, but our sense of smell is so primal, so important that we're drawn to it. That's
Mm.
why, y'all, your chemical surfactants or the products you use have chemical surfactants in it that keep the smell encapsulated. When you wash your clothes and put them through the dryer, you
Mm.
shouldn't smell anything. There is a chemical in it that lasts for weeks. Like you shouldn't smell your clothes a week later. It shouldn't smell like anything. That's a
Yeah.
chemical that you're putting on your skin. And what I'm saying is, what's the solution? Stop the insult. Stop the damage, right? Like what is the solution to not getting sick? Is to put your body in a situation where you're not hurting it. Now, guess what? Your body can start to function properly. And then
Yeah.
your immune system starts to regulate. And then your metabolism starts to regulate. We don't realize the metabolic burden that we're placing because the body doesn't perceive a virus or a bacteria different than it does an artificial fragrance or chemical. It just stimulates the immune function. So instead of your body burning fat and digesting food properly, it's wasting all of its metabolic energy, killing off and trying to cleanse itself and detoxing. Like
Yeah.
imagine taking that burden off. So long story short, when you adopt what we call this essential oil natural lifestyle, you are starting at the root cause of giving your body the best fighting chance to heal and live long. And then, heaven forbid, you contract this or something's happened, you have tools that have a therapeutic effect that could help you piece by piece, symptom by symptom.
Wow, that's amazing. Absolutely. And on that point, actually, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, he wrote this amazing book talking about how it was very difficult to get people to brush their teeth. And the way that they ended up getting people to brush their teeth was they created a habit trigger that made people believe that their teeth were clean by putting an irritant in the
Yep.
toothpaste and surfactant, which ended up
Yep.
creating the bubbles. So then, oh, okay, the bubbles are forming in my mouth. There's irritation to the gums, so I feel like the various chemicals that they put in, all of a sudden they're clean, and it created this positive impact, and people brushing their teeth. and creating the habit of brushing their teeth because of the scent and the feel and
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
bubbles. But then it also created a negative impact in that people were putting all these, petrochemicals in their mouth that they didn't even realize that they're, carcinogens and various synthetic fragrances and toxins that were inside the toothpaste that still are inside the toothpaste pastes to this day. So awesome. So,
Hey, can I give a practical tip that I think
yeah,
would, okay, y'all, one of my things, if you know what I do, if you follow our work, we're big on taking, we're just big fans of taking real complex, detailed information like, okay, what does this mean for me now? Your mind's going to be blown if it already hasn't with this wonderful summit that Dr. Isaac's putting together. You have experts around the world dropping truth bombs, yet all of it's going to be wasted if you don't have practical steps forward. So I just trust me, I'm going to give you something. Like I just blew the Komodo on antibacterial hand soaps and all these cleaners and stuff. What's the solution? Well, you could go to the store, spend probably a couple extra dollars, and maybe you want to buying non-toxic, non-scented version, and then you could put a couple drops of, let's say, lavender or orange oil in that non-scented version, and you got a good thing going. That's like the lazy person's way of DIYing. But if you want to make your own quick and foaming hand soap, get a piece of paper and pencil. I'm gonna give you a recipe. It's this simple. This simple. First, go to Amazon or your local health food store and get a glass foaming dispenser or a foaming soap pump. You get Dr. Bronner's liquid Castile soap, get some aloe vera gel, and essential oils. You might need water, you might not, depends. So here's how it works, step by step. First, your measurement decides on the size of your container. So if you got a 4-ounce, an 8, a 16-ounce pumper, doesn't matter. Here's the ratio. Fill the dispenser about halfway, a little bit more than halfway full of the liquid soap. Then add enough aloe so that you're just about 4/4 of the way, like 80% now. All right. So 60-ish% of soap, add your aloe, so you're about 80% full. And then you drop a bunch of essential oils. And here's the ratio of essential oils. For every ounce of that liquid, add 10 drops of essential oil. So if you have 10 ounces in there, add 100 drops of essential oil. That sounds like a lot. It really isn't, because this is going to last you a long, long time. And it's pennies compared to what you're going to buy at the store. And then you shake it. If you need to, if you want it, depending on the thickness, add a little bit of water. That's your non-toxic hand soap. But here's a cool thing, Doc. And this is what blew my mind about essential oils. Unlike the antibiotic, antifungal, antiviral approach, which is essentially a nuclear bomb that just kills everything. It kills the good and the bacteria, the good and the bad fungus. Essential oils have what's known as cell selectivity. Inherently designed by God, essential oils will target the pathogenic microbes and leave the healthy microbes alone. I mean, you can't make this stuff
really?
up. It's in the research.
I actually was wondering about
Yeah.
that, in that if you put like clove on your hands, or like say spruce or something like that, or
Mhm.
sage, if it would kill the healthy bacteria, but you're saying it doesn't.
Yeah. If it's used, if you properly dilute, and this is kind of where we get into a little bit of the use. Like Dr. Isaac said, I did the same thing. The last thing you want to do is right out of the shower, your skin is soft, your pores are open, to douse essential oils straight. That's called neat. Undiluted use is never recommended. You always want to dilute it with a carrier oil, because these can be very caustic. Again, you're looking at 3 pounds of lavender, 40 different lemon rinds. You're looking at pounds of clove. Like, this stuff will burn you if you don't use it right. And that's where these ratios come into play. So for every ounce of, let's say, coconut oil, you can add 12 to 15 drops of essential oil. That's proper dilution, safe for kids, safe for sensitive skin. And then you
Amazing.
kind of learn the math as you go along. But again, we have all the tutorials if you need on our website. There's
What's your
valuable
website?
information out there. Yeah, our
What's your
website is naturallivingfamily.com. And of course, my book, The Healing Power of Essential Oils, has all of this just starting out information that you need, because there's a little bit of math. But once you figure it out, it's good. It's no different than making your favorite gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free chocolate chip cookies, right? You just got to get the recipe down. And once you're empowered with it, Doc, this is the fishing pole. Like, we
Love
need
it.
to learn how to fish. And this is the key. Once you get these basics down, now you start to play around and you have some fun.
Amazing. Naturallivingfamily.com, you said, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's our website. Yep.
Great. So give us some tips on disease prevention with essential oils. We'll get into longevity with essential oils and then anti-aging, beautification with essential oils. Let's talk about those three topics.
Yeah. So when it comes to disease prevention as a whole, looking at where you can replace toxic with non-toxic ingredients, that
Yes.
cannot be
Huge,
overemphasized. Other
huge.
than that, okay, now what can I do on a regular basis? And ultimately, the trigger that we're seeing is chronic emotional mental stress
Mm,
and inflammation, which ultimately what's causing the inflammation, oftentimes chronic stress, right? So the one thing I want to leave you with is if you want to do something on a regular basis, it's really enjoyable to use essential oils in your body care, your, like I mentioned, cleaning products, just as a preventative measure. Because what's happening is when you apply, let's say, that mixture I just gave you of coconut oil and essential oils, you can make a body oil, and simple as getting 1 ounce of coconut oil, or if
uh-huh.
you don't have it handy, 1 ounce of olive oil, anything in your kitchen, and adding, let's say, 12 drops of orange. Now, what's happening is orange is rich in a chemical known as 1,8-cineol and D-limonene. And D-limonene specifically is a potent anti-inflammatory agent shown to kill cancer cells, and it's an antidepressant. Essentially, you could start to produce natural dopamine and serotonin by having essential oils being applied on your skin. And the key thing about essential oils are they're lipophilic, they're fat loving, hydrophobic, water hating. So that's why they do really, really well with other oils. And so when you apply them with, like, let's say coconut or olive oil, within minutes, the components of the essential oil can be detected in your bloodstream. Like, we're talking systemic medicinal effect. And so
Wow.
if you want that healthy, happy feeling, like, this is what we like. We anoint our kids before they go to school every day. We like to mix vanilla and orange. And
Oh my
what,
gosh, my favorite. Those are like, I love vanilla and
yeah,
I love orange. That's awesome.
there's research, actually, there's a wonderful clinical trial that evaluated people in a very stressful, hopeless situation. And
Mm,
believe it or not, it was really kind of wild what they did, but it's brilliant. They had two groups of people and they had them solve within a group the same problem. And the problem was solve systemic racism. And it's like,
mm,
wow, like, you can't do that, right? You can't solve systemic racism with a group of 25 strangers. And so that was a hopeless task designed to frustrate people. And in one group, they're just stuck in this sterile environment with their paper and pencil, miserable. The other group, they're stuck with their paper and pencil, miserable, but they had aromatherapy. And they had orange and vanilla essential oil being diffused. And the reports from the people is significant, less overwhelm, less burden, less stress, less anxiety, less hopelessness, just by having it. Even though they couldn't solve the task, who can solve systemic racism? But the reality is, the people that had aromatherapy, it was more of a preventative measure to help them deal with the stress of life. And so imagine you put that on every single day. Imagine that right there, what that's going to do for you when the proverbial crap hits the fan and people are going to die, businesses are going to crumble, you're going to stub your toe, bad news are going to happen. It's life. Yet
yeah.
imagine you're prepared better for life. The problem is we're so on edge all the time, and then life happens, it overwhelms and burdens us. So that's a really smart, kind of subtle way of just making essential oils part of your life. Like, I literally don't have those expensive colognes, like you mentioned, the perfumes and stuff. I don't own that stuff. What we do, we have essential oils everywhere. It's like, and the thing about it is we don't use essential oils to, quote, prevent disease. Like, I'm not sick. I'm not using cinnamon oil for diabetes, but you know what I am doing? I have a matcha latte. I love my matcha latte. Simple, little almond milk, unsweetened. I got my matcha in here. I put a drop of peppermint and a drop of cinnamon. Why? Well, A, I like the flavor. but it's a nice, subtle culinary dose of essential oil. And what that does is the blood sugar balances naturally because cinnamon is a known insulin sensitivity, helps the insulin receptors. Peppermint increases VO2 max. It gives you energy, helps curb hunger. Like if
Wow.
you intermittent fast, if you want energy, if you want focus, whatever it is, if you're trying to beat sugar cravings, there are subtle things you could do. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not treating diabetes. I'm living an anti-diabetic lifestyle. I'm not
Mm,
treating cancer. I'm living an anti-cancer lifestyle. I'm not treating
wow.
Alzheimer's. I'm living an anti-Alzheimer's lifestyle. And that's how I approach chronic disease with essential oils. And it's just the sky's the limit. And that's why it's not a panacea. And I want to point that out. Essential oils are extracted from adaptogenic plants and herbs and trees, which helps your body create homeostasis. They're known harmonizers. The literature literally says they're harmonizers. They help your body reach balance. And so when you start, it's no different than if you were to live outside. And you know what? To be a little, to go back in the nature, we're not made to live in these boxes. Like God did not design us to live in these cardboard wooden boxes full of toxic VOCs being emitted from our carpet and our paint. We are made to be outside. And the more that you're outside, the better. And that's why when COVID hit and everyone was under lockdowns, people like me and Dr. Tom O'Brien and others were screaming from the rooftops, we need to go outside. And then the concept of forest bathing finally hit America. And I
Mm.
know you know this, Doc, because you have so much work and so much great stuff you've done in Japan. Forest bathing is actually part of Japanese medicine.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
great.
to hear from you because I've never been to a forest bathing center. I just go outside to my national park. But forest bathing is literally medicine and treated by healthcare practitioners in Japan.
I take my students to these inkansens, or I forget how you say them, but there's typically bamboo forests
Yeah.
that you have walking, trails around the bamboo forest, and these are thick bamboo. I mean, they're like they're probably like a foot around or half a foot around, and they go up like maybe 100 feet or 50 feet, and it's just hearing the
Mm.
wind through them and just being out in nature. It's just absolutely incredible. And I've taken this practice back to my family, in that we have baths now almost every day with essential oils in the baths every night.
Mm-hmm.
My wife definitely has them every day. I probably have them 3 times a week. And then we go on walks in the
Yep.
forest or bike rides in the forest.
Yep.
It's amazing, like listening to the birds release serotonin and dopamine, just being out in the environment, and you're breathing in all these negative ions that help to neutralize the
Mm-hmm.
positive ions that are free radicals to your body. So that EMF and being indoors, as Dr. Eric was talking about, Dr. Z, I mean, these are the challenges, but man, this is so good. Talk to us.
Shinrin Yoku. It's called Shinrin Yoku. And I'll leave you with this, y'all. If
Yes.
you're outside for 2 hours, research has shown if you spend just 2 hours outside in a densely wooded or plant-based area, again, you can't be in downtown Manhattan. You got to go to Central Park. You go in that area for 2 hours, your natural killer cells, which are the immune boosting cells in your body that kill cancer and help you really stay alive and fight viruses and all that, they're elevated. And within a 2 hour session, not only is there a significant elevation of your natural killer cells, white blood cells, your immune function, but it lasts for 30 days. You have a 30-day boost in immune function just by being outside for 2 hours. So I'm with you. Many of you, I have 6 kids. I can't spend 2 hours a day outside, but you know what? I could do that once or twice a month. And it's family time. It's whatever it is. It's picnic time. It's playing outside, whatever. But you know what's interesting? And let's be honest here. And I love saying this, comparative to essential oils, being out in nature is better. Nothing at all can compare to that kind of effect on your body. No supplementation, no food, no essential oil. You could
Wow.
bring, and I do, I'll bring in Shinrin Yoku. I'll bring in the forest tree oils. I love those oils in my home, pine, cedarwood, sandalwood. I'll bring them in my home. I have plants all around me. I'll have visions, or I'll have like a visual aspect of nature through whatever it is, through my screensaver or whatever. I try to inundate myself with sounds of nature, real nature, but it's only a fraction of the benefit of being outside. So what's the solution? Be outside as much as you can, and then bring
But,
outside in. Have
but
plants in your home. Listen to like what Dr. Isaac's saying. There's nothing like soothing, calm music. Like guys, I'm talking to guys here. Are you dealing with ED? Are you dealing with erectile dysfunction? Women, spouses, your lovers, are they struggling? You want to help them? Calm them down. Diffuse some lavender, put some sounds of nature, give them a foot rub, get them in that parasympathetic mode. Like that is the solution that we need as men, and often women too. Of course, there's other things, but we're talking about living a nice, happy, vibrant life. Sex is included.
Mm.
Relationships are important. We need to be able to be just fully functioning in every area. And when you incorporate
Is there,
nature into your daily routine, it changes everything.
that's incredible. Is there essential oils for increasing libido? I know this whole
Oh, yeah.
system helped to increase the libido, but what are some of the best essential oils for that? Because this is a huge problem that
Oh,
we're
yeah.
seeing in society now.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah.
if you look at the longevity research, unfortunate, like one of the biggest things that you can do is love making, like
Yeah.
that is one of the things, like, it's not like we've really talked a lot in the summit about it, but talk to us about that.
Yeah. I mean, oftentimes you think of rose, you think of jasmine, neroli. These are wonderful. They're ancient aphrodisiacs. The problem is these oils are very, very expensive, and most people, it's out of their budget. Like a $200 bottle of rose, $100 bottle of jasmine, whatever. I get it. I understand that. And so we try to incorporate some of the more cost-effective oils. Ylang Ylang is more budget-friendly. That again is a known aphrodisiac. It's an ancient, wonderful, beautiful smelling orchid, very commonly ingredient with many women perfume. So if you can incorporate that, but an interesting study for you, Doc, you might be interested in
Mm.
putting things back in the guy's lap is pumpkin pie spice. I'll never forget this. Our endocrinology teacher at Life University, she taught us that when they evaluated a study of smell and determined what turned on a man more than anything, it was pumpkin pie spice, that clove, nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon smell. And that stimulates. And there's a lot of, that's basically what you put in your apple pie, right? If you're American or other people, I know we have a global audience. Australians always ask me, what's pumpkin pie spice? It's what you put in your pumpkin pie, right? It's what you put in your apple pie. But if you wanted to create a nice spicy blend, that is wonderful for guys. So generally speaking, guys tend more to the
Clove.
spice, women tend more to the flowers.
What are the three again? Clove.
Oh yeah, pumpkin pie spice smell. You got clove, you have nutmeg, you have ginger and cinnamon. You can actually get these essential oils and just put one drop each in your diffuser. I have a diffuser right behind me. There are so many different ways. You have spritzer bottles, you have inhalers,
Yeah.
a variety of different mechanisms. You can actually create a highly diluted massage oil. And again, give yourself a foot rub or have someone give you a neck rub of that. It's just a wonderful stimulant in a variety of ways. But anything ultimately to get us out of the sympathetic. I mean, this is really important. We got to get out of the sympathetic mode. And again, same teacher taught us, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. Again,
Yeah.
something you guys might be interested. Again, it's becoming a sex class here, but to get an erection, you need to be in the parasympathetic. Point and shoot. To point, you need to be in the parasympathetic mode. To shoot, to ejaculate, you need to be in the sympathetic mode. So that's where, if you really want to get that going, you need to get out of that chronic stress. So the last thing last thing you can think of is when you come home from a stressful day, horrible diet, sitting down, dealing with traffic, is sex. It's typically not the thing that you're thinking. That's why so many guys, especially, fall to the liquor. They go to the beer, they do anything to kind of get them out of that mode. And then, oh, now I feel like having sex. It's very interesting how wine and alcohol hack the body to giving them like a little jolt of parasympathetic motion. So now they can even be aroused. I'd rather much do it in a more natural way. And you start to realize, wow, like when you feel deep love, when you feel
Mm.
intimacy, it's when you're calm. It's
Yeah.
like, really, it's not when you're arguing. It's when you're talking. It's when you're touching. It's when you're, and I'm not even talking, like, again, this is a healthy discussion here. I mean, like, we're talking consensual, loving adults who want to connect. Like, you got to connect, and it's a special, special way.
Oh,
And
it's amazing.
so,
I
yeah,
mean,
so there's,
this is like, I had I do these longevity summits every year, and we had Dave Asprey along with, 7 or 8 of the world's top longevity researchers that were on the panel. Um, And I asked the question, like, what are some of the best things for longevity? Like the top two or three things. And this was a conversation. It was like number one for a lot of them was like lovemaking.
Hmm.
And and so I think this is an important conversation.
Yeah.
The thing, so we'll wrap this up, and what I want to end on, if you have the time, is just what are the best essential oils for the skin for anti-aging that we should be using every day?
Yeah. Yeah. The first that comes to mind is the most commonly known as immortelle, the fountain of youth, is helichrysum. That is the one that from antiquity has been used in skincare routines, and that's something that
Mm.
you can oftentimes get as part of a blend if you go purchase essential oil from your favorite distributor or online provider. You go look up anti-aging, you open up clear skin blend. Oftentimes they'll have that. It's very healing. Ultimately, though, you want to do things that will nourish the skin without harming it, and gentle essential oils. So that's, again, lavender is really key. Rose can be a little pricey, but this is where I go back to the pre-purchase of the blend is ideal. But if you're going to, hey, I want to do something at home, depends on what you're looking for. Like if you're looking for an antifungal solution, you might be dealing with an eczema. Tea tree is fantastic as part of your regimen. Frankincense is great. Anti-inflammatory, it's cellular rejuvenating. People find themselves doing really good with that as well.
Now,
And yeah, there are a variety.
do you mix them with, like, say, jojoba oil
Yeah.
or
Any
coconut
carrier
oil?
oil, really, any carrier oil. We typically like to encourage people to start with the low-hanging fruit. Like, what do you have in your house right now? Most people have coconut or olive oil right now in your pantry. If you want to go a little deeper, jojoba, sweet almond oil, fractionated coconut oil takes it basically, it's like MCT. It takes out the long
Wow.
chain fatty acids, so it's only liquid. These are great solutions. And yeah, we have a variety of different, like, not just blends, but formulas. Like when you add coconut oil to aloe to essential oils and you buzz that up in like a ninja or a magic bullet, like it creates like a healing salve when you incorporate like frankincense or helichrysum, call it, or skin healing serum. The recipe's on our website for looking for that. I just don't know off the top of my head the ratios. But that's what we have for like sunburn. That's what we have for rashes and things. But ultimately, the more oil, the better. Like I want to encourage people. This is something I had to learn the hard way, but I struggled with cystic acne. And I was always thinking oil was bad because my skin was oily. Like we actually need oil. So things that dehydrate your skin are actually bad. So when you're looking at your body care, specifically
Mm.
your skin, your face creams and your face lotions and serums, don't use anything with water. I mean, water, if water is an ingredient, also aqua, you might see aqua as the first ingredient to your anti-aging wrinkle remover. Water dehydrates your skin, water evaporates, and it's the cheap way of making the product. You want a product that is oil based or at the very least aloe based. And that's
Wow.
a big misnomer. And people are making buku bucks
What's your
on that.
favorite? What's your favorite product for skin? If
Yeah.
you could recommend,
Yeah.
like,
We love Anne Marie Skincare. 100% oil based. We love their blends and they use great carrier oils. Yeah, there's a variety of other. My friend Brian Baisley has Purity Woods. Again, no water. Maple syrup extract derived. It's another good one for especially wrinkle removing. So there's a variety. We have a whole list of them that we offer that we suggest on our website. As you know, our wives look very young for their age, right? My wife just recently won Mrs. Georgia and she's 46 years old. So the anti-aging and looking youthful is really important to
yeah.
everyone, I would
Yeah,
say, not just,
yeah, your wife is stunning, and
you know,
obviously, to win Miss Georgia at 46 is pretty amazing. So, Dr. Eric, we could keep going, but we touched on the anti-aging strategies. We touched on the longevity solutions. We touched on disease prevention. I mean, this is really, really powerful conversation. I personally want to keep this conversation going, but let's keep the conversation going with them going to your website and potentially learning more about your essential oils courses. Do you want to tell them where they can get access to that?
yeah, please, y'all go visit naturallivingfamily.com. And if you want to dive deeper into essential oils, you could search The Healing Power of Essential Oils on Amazon or anywhere that books are sold, and get started. I want to encourage you, just take one step forward, celebrate the progress. It's really enjoyable, and just be empowered that you have all that you need to live a long, healthy, abundant life. And Dr. Isaac, thanks for inviting me to be in front of the community here.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eric. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for listening to the Longevity Leaders Podcast. Our Longevity Leaders community is on mission to transform 100 million lives by 2040. If you enjoyed this show, please share this with somebody that you know, especially another doctor or physician, but also click that follow button. Until next time, stay strong and live long.